Has James Franco been traded for a younger model? You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of Neighbors.
We're throwing a Robert De Niro party. Should be pretty loud.
You called the cops, you violated the circle of trust, Falker.
Just go!
You're upsetting Jinxie Cat.
And what are you gonna do?
This is our home.
It's our home? Oh! We're having a hard time hanging on to our balls. They're so big.
I'm a mama bear.
Claws are out! I have a darkness inside of me, and you will see it!
Whew, no, we're good. Seth Rogen will be releasing his third film with James Franco later this year, The Interview, where Franco plays an eccentric talk show host and Rogen his producer. When they land an interview with Kim Jong-un, the CIA drafts them as assassins, after which hilarity ensues. Rogen co-directs that feature with his longtime partner behind the camera, Evan Goldberg, who is also a producer on Neighbors. Speaking of longtime partners, Neighbors is directed by Jason Segel's longtime partner, Nick Stoller. And with Neighbors set to practically double the debut of all Segel-Stoller's previous efforts, Segel's got to be wondering if he's the broken half of that partnership. Surely Stoller would love to jump over to the Rogen-Goldberg camp, as there's clearly enough room for multiple talents. Just take a look at This Is the End's expansive cast. Yes, these days in Hollywood there are comedy gangs. There's some crossover, but generally the established powerhouses are Judd Apatow, Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, and Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Plus, Phil Lord and Chris Miller are quickly establishing their own territory. Meanwhile, Adam Sandler is desperately trying to salvage what he can of his own faltering empire. The Farrelly brothers are trying for a comeback with Dumb and Dumber 2, and Todd Phillips seems to have gone into hiding after his once promising Hangover trilogy imploded. And while Stoller is working his way up the comedic ladder of success the old-fashioned way, Zac Efron is a wild card addition. The former heartthrob tried to go the indie route but never found any traction or respect. So why not follow in James Franco's footsteps? Franco's brother Dave clearly thinks that's a good idea too, and he is already far more integrated into the current comedy landscape than his Neighbors co-star Efron. But interestingly, while James Franco always plays one of the guys who's maybe just a little prettier, Efron, at least here in Neighbors, seems to be building on his heartthrob image. More like how Robert De Niro built his comedic persona around his tough guy image. But with Dave Franco doing the same routine, did he just get outclassed by Efron? Finally, let's not forget about Rose Byrne, who might be better known as James Wan's horror queen, yet she was also woefully underappreciated in Bridesmaids. So, does Neighbors further Rogen and Goldberg's gang? And should Stoller and Efron get to stick around? You know, I've come to the conclusion that Seth Rogen is a lot like Lena Dunham. I first made this comparison as a joke, but as I watched Neighbors, it began to dawn on me how right I actually was. First of all, I think they both are the voice of their generation. I was really surprised at the great underlying message in Neighbors about being married and being parents. I thought that it was really well explored and it had a lot of authenticity. It wasn't like overly sappy while still being very sweet. But then the other way that he's like Lena Dunham is a lot of nudity, although I think they get naked for different reasons. Seth Rogen to be funny, Lena Dunham to make a statement about body image issues. But I saw a lot of Seth Rogen in this film. I saw a lot of things, and probably more penises than I've ever seen in a movie. It's almost as if Seth Rogen is taking it upon himself to demystify the penis. So I have to warn you that this is an extremely raunchy movie. A little bit too much for me actually in parts. And I would not give it the best review if not for the fact that at some points in the movie it made me laugh so hard. How can you not love a film that makes you laugh that hard? Like Seth Rogen and Zac Efron have a fight in this movie that's just spectacular. I couldn't stop laughing. Now this is nowhere near as good as This Is the End, which of course was one of my favorite movies last year. But it's certainly a very solid film. It's entertaining, and if you're looking for a good raunchy comedy, I think this is an excellent bet. I thought Seth Rogen was very good. I think he's always good. I think that he drifted away from his patented recipe of raunchy humor and sweetness for a while. Maybe went a little too sweet and sometimes a little too raunchy, but I think he's back to just the perfect mix. And I thought that Zac Efron was very good in this movie. I thought he was used very well. There were great jokes made at his expense. He made great jokes at other people's expense. I think that it was great to see Efron embracing some of the pluses and minuses of his career and his image, and I think really making the most of them. I think this was a very strong performance from Efron. He really held his own here. And he was likable. You know, he was supposed to be a not likable guy, I think, to some degree at first. And you know, you would think that you'd be like, oh, I'm on Rogen's side against yours, but you genuinely wanted them to work things out. And then also Rose Byrne, I have to mention, was very good as well. I thought she really was able to hold her own, more than hold her own. And I just really liked the job that she did. And I like that they made her character the most socially savvy of Seth Rogen, and also they had their friend helping them out, who actually, I forget the comedian's name. He's from the Mindy Project. He plays the male nurse. I think he's very funny. I've never seen him in a movie before, and I thought he was quite good. And that's another good thing about this movie. You know, I talk in the open about comedy gangs in Hollywood, but I thought that Neighbors did a really great job of reaching out across those kind of like divisions and really trying to be like an open forum for just great comedians. Like they had some flashback sequences in the beginning of the movie, and they have Lonely Island, they have the Workaholics group, Jake Johnson from New Girl. There are a lot of great cameos here as well. So it's nice to see Seth Rogen's not only tapped into the comedy base in Hollywood socially, but that he's giving them work, and you know, he wants them all to just put their talents together. So as I said, in some parts this movie is so raunchy that I really have to warn you against seeing it if that's a problem for you. But at the same time, it's very fun, and I really laughed a lot, and I really enjoyed it. Also, last but not least, I have to give a shout out to the two twins who played the baby in the movie. This baby was I think it might be the cutest baby I've ever seen on any screen, TV, movie, a commercial. This baby was phenomenal because not only was it adorable, but she had a lot of personality as well. She was like a little person, and it was just really a thrill to see. Usually babies in TV and movies are just there. But this baby, just with no dialogue for obvious reasons, was really able to capture your heart. So that's my review of Neighbors. If you've seen the film, be sure to leave your own thoughts down below, and you can check out some more episodes right now.